don't give God your talent, I'm going to leave that between you and God. But there is an actual explanation as to why Abel's sacrifice was accepted and Cain's wasn't. It's actually found in Hebrews 11, the Hall of Fame of Faith. By faith, Abel offered God a better sacrifice than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as a righteous man when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, he still speaks even though he is dead. By faith, he gave a better offering. Abel is the first person in the Hall of Fame. He went on the world long enough to be classed a man of faith. But by faith, he gave his best. Abel offered in faith. Cain didn't. There was a difference in the principle upon which they were given. Abel believed God and trusted him. Cain didn't believe it. Abel offered with an eye to his God's will and his rule, and God's glory as his end. But Cain did what he did, just for company's sake, or to save face. I'm bringing because I got to, because I'm in a place where I'm supposed to. That is not the attitude to come before God. Because Cain didn't give him faith, his offering turned to sin. All our sacrifices, all the sacrifices we make without faith are worthless. Because in Hebrews 11:6 it says, and without faith it is impossible to please God. Abel didn't just bring the firstling, the first of the flock. He also brought the fat. Now this is key, because it shows that this sacrifice was extra special. See, the fat was regarded as the luxury. It was given to God when the animal was sacrificed. But see, Abel wouldn't have known this, because that didn't come in until Leviticus. The burning of the fat before God is called, according to Leviticus 17, the burning of the fat is as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. That's why we know Abel's sacrifice was blessed, because the fat went up as an aroma that just pleased God. And God blessed him. In bringing the offering he did, Cain denied he was a sinful man. Under the sentence of divine judgment, he insisted approaching God on the grounds of his personal worthiness instead of accepting God's way. He offered God the fruit of the ground, which in Genesis 3 verse 17, God had cursed. He had cursed the ground. So what was Cain saying? Have it back. He presented the product of his own toil, the work of his own hands, and God refused it. Please, 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 don't come to God on your terms. The only reason you are here today is because the sacrifice given for us was acceptable to God. The death of the sinless Lamb, who was Jesus. We kind of forget that in the God of love, that he is also a God of justice. He is a God who is angry with his people, but that anger was suppressed when the Lamb, who was Jesus, was put on the cross, and his anger was quenched. Now we are saved by the blood. But for those who don't know him, his anger is still upon their lives. We have to tell them that there is life in Jesus. There is life in the blood. There is life in the sacrifice. God told me that there are people in church, not just in this church, in his church, that are offering, that are like Cain and Abel. There are those who give an offering by faith, and there are those who give because they have to. And God says He looks on in favour of the one whilst disregarding the offering of the other. Please understand, I am not talking about money. I am talking about your attitude. I am talking about who you are in Jesus. Some people, instead of having an attitude of praise and worship and adoration and thanksgiving, just come with an attitude. Well, can I suggest the lack of blessing accompanies the sacrifice you bring? When you bring your sacrifice or your offering, ask yourself, am I giving nothing less than the best? The disrespectful offering is the one that keeps you in your bed, when you should be here in the service. Understand this, you're not coming to make me happy. I don't care if there's 3 people here or 33,000 people here. You should be coming to offer God your sacrifice. For some of you, the sacrifice is just coming. Even though you feel like death warmed up, sickness ravaging your body, see, God will see your heart. He will see the sacrifice, the extent of your sacrifice, and He will bless you because of it. Hebrews 11:6 finishes by saying, He rewards those who diligently and earnestly seek after Him. A little bit of goriness for you now, for the scholars. Don't pick me up on it, this is my version. When they brought a lamb to be slain, what they would do, they would put their hand on the head, therefore getting rid of their blame and putting it on the lamb. The lamb's throat was then slit, and every last drop of blood would be poured out. And then it officially, that was symbolizing that the transferring of your sin went upon a sinless animal, and the blood took all the sin away, and the transferal of life, that spotlessness, that blamelessness came upon you. This is why they sacrificed the lambs. Remember that next time you bring a sacrifice. Remember that, because I'm coming back to it in a minute. See, if the sacrifice was acceptable, God would send His fire and consume it. If our offerings and sacrifices were acceptable in this place, given nothing less than our best, He would send down His fire and it would consume us, it would cleanse us, but only if it was nothing less than the best. And this leads me to the second sacrifice. My life, I'm getting a little giddy now. Let me ask you again, is your sacrifice the best? And is it only for a Sunday? For some people, even that's too much of a sacrifice. Coming to church on a Sunday. It's too much. I've got too much going on. But let me tell you, Christ gave His life. Christ gave His life. But yet you struggle to give yours. We struggle to give our life when Jesus freely went to the cross. But yet we want all the benefits of being under His name and under His standard and under His banner. So we're going to take a look at the sacrifice. We're going to take a look at what Jesus went through.